Hey everyone, Mark Versen, Chief Development Officer at Lutheran Family Services. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for tuning in for the next Connecting Through COVID-19. It's kind of crazy to think that we originally started this to be a short mini series, but none of us really expected the pandemic to continue the way that it has. And as we continue to learn more and see some numbers rising in our state, we at Lutheran Family Services are going to continue to uphold our mission of providing safety, hope, and well-being, and make sure that the people come first in terms of our staff and our clients of being safe. And so we are continuing to work from home. And so with that, we're going to continue to do these interviews as we have another rock star with Adam Armstrong with us today. From a program that we haven't talked about yet that I think is close and near and dear to a lot of our hearts. But with that, Joel, I'll kick it over to you like we have, and we can dive right in.
Sounds good, Mark. Good to see you again. The basement isn't quite finished yet, is it?
We're still we're working on the outside right now. We'll say that.
All right. Well, I want to get to it. And we've all been spending a lot of time inside and trying to figure out the best way to serve people, but no stranger to service. I want to kick it over to Adam Armstrong. Adam, good to see you again. Good morning. Thanks for what you do for LFS, and thanks for serving our country. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Joel. Thanks, Mark. It's great to be able to spread the word about what we're doing while we're going through these difficult times. And I've had the honor to work for Lutheran Family Services in the Military and Veterans Services program for the last 5 years. And what an interesting dynamic that's been to see where we were at 5 years ago now, and then how we're adapting to this change. I personally served in the United States Air Force from 2002 to 2006, transferred over to the Nebraska Air National Guard at that point from 2006 to 2010, and actually returned over to the Middle East as a contractor for about 16, 18 months after that time. And upon that return, life never was really easy in that transition part. That was the transition in 2006 didn't go well. The transition in 2010 didn't go all that well. And even that transition back from a contractor standpoint, really took me a long time to get through that. And it's still something that I work on every day. Through some factors of my life decisions, I chose to become sober on November 29th of 2008. And that's while I was serving in the Air National Guard, but I was really battling with the fact of after active duty. I lost that sense of mission. I lost that sense of hope. And, through legal troubles, through, just constantly changing my career, wondering what life was, not having that mission really affected me. And what it came down to is the night that I decided that my drinking career was over, I called an AA hotline. And they sent two gentlemen to my door. And I didn't tell them I was in the military because I didn't want that to get back to anybody. Those two guys that showed up on my door, one was a Vietnam vet and one was a Korean War vet. And they sat down and they said, "Hey, brother, we've got your back." And they did. And they supported me through that first, year of sobriety. I got letters in the mail while I was deployed to Kuwait. I got, celebration stuff when I celebrated my year of sobriety while I'm sitting in the middle of a desert. And I always had that when I came back home too. And so really what I do is I try and pay that forward. I'm indebted to those, and I'm indebted to Christ. I'm indebted to those things that allowed me to live the life that I'm now living. And I just want to pay that forward to those that are facing similar struggles or unique struggles. So, whether it's through our peer support programs, just meeting one-on-one and finding out somebody's story and seeing where they're at and seeing what we can do, to our social gatherings, to our Nebraska Buddy Check program, where we have no agenda. We just want to connect veterans to fellow veterans. And we're looking forward, once everything, eases up, we're going to be launching our Veteran Family Check program, which is going to be actually bring your families, bring your kids, bring your spouse, bring your significant other out. And let's not only connect veterans, let's connect those family members as well, because they're just as much in the fight as we are. So, we just get such a great opportunity through Lutheran Family Services to really have the freedom to meet people where they're at, find out where they've been, where they're at now, and where they want to be, to really drive that home and to fix. I shouldn't say fix, we're trying to overcome those barriers by having them set the goals, by having them have involvement. I don't want to tell you what to do. I don't like being told what to do. So it really is just a blessing that we're able to do that. And Mark, Joel, you guys being out here in central Nebraska, is we're covering such a great area in greater Nebraska. I'm heading to Lincoln later today to do some personal stuff, but it's still veteran related. I'm going to be heading to North Platte as soon as we're able. We get out, we get around, we serve Hastings, Kearney, Scotts Bluff. We're everywhere. And so it's just great that Lutheran Family Services is able to offer that statewide and that freedom for me to get out and meet people.
Because Adam, you're in Grand Island, right?
Yeah. I live in Grand Island. Grand Island's been home for me since I was pretty much 2 years old, minus military time and some time up living in Norfolk, going to Northeast Community College. So I've been involved in this veteran world, not just personally as a veteran, but as a career since 2013. With LFS since 2015. So it's just a blessing to be able to, I get paid to go talk to fellow vets. Like you can't get any better than that in my world. So.
And Mark, I've seen Adam in action a lot, and just like this interview, Adam, thanks again for your passion. It's authentic, and I'm assuming that's useful too, right? If you would talk a little bit about a hypothetical or kind of an in general, what is it you actually do when you meet with people or you drive to North Platte? What's something like that look like on your daily schedule?
It's really a tough answer to that because it's ever changing. Okay. It depends on where I'm at, who I'm meeting with. We might be dealing with substance abuse. We might be dealing with post-traumatic stress. We might be dealing with employment. We might be dealing with, the whole gamut of the spectrum. And really, there's no cookie cutter approach to that. And what's great about us is we're all unique individuals, just like every individual is unique, every veteran's unique. So, but we find that commonality through service, we find that camaraderie. I once had a guy tell me, I got back from Vietnam in 1971. I went to community college in 1972. And all I knew was I had this GI Bill, but I didn't know what I was supposed to do with it. He's like, so I don't know how I would really relate to, today's vets. I was like, dude, I got home in 2011, started college in 2012, and I showed up knowing, hey, I've got this GI Bill, and I know I should use it. But there it is, basically 40 years later, and we're going through the exact same experience. And so we find that commonality, and we go from there. So, on a typical day, it might be a cup of coffee and just hashing about life. It might be driving around to different places where we go out, we pay bills. We might be apartment shopping. Might be helping you fill out job applications, might be working on a budget, might be driving you to detox. It just really depends on what the day is and what the individual is. But, I say it a lot, but it's so important that we meet that individual exactly where they're at and just say, hey, tell me what's up. I don't want to assume what's going on with you. And I know you don't want to assume what's going on with me. So let's hash it and let's see where we're at. So, and the family piece, the family piece is so huge in what we do, Our services are open to the veteran, but the family members as well. And our definition of family, if your life is affected by the life of a veteran, we can offer you services. So if you've got your second cousins, brothers, dogs, pet food salesman twice removed, living on your couch, and he's a vet, that veteran's affecting your life, And so maybe they don't want to get healthy yet, but you can be healthy. We can meet with you. We can find out what's up. We can find those resources that are available to you. We've got a big toolkit when it comes to vets. The VA does great work. We don't always see eye to eye, but they do great work, great people. There's so many different resources. But when it comes to that family piece, once you get away from those direct dependents, that wife and those kids, or husband, sorry, I'm not trying to be a sexist here. We just lose those resources. And so that's where we're at, and we can try to fill those gaps. Honestly, in 2019, I had more family member mental health clients as far as traditional therapy type stuff goes than I did veterans. And because normally with the veteran, we can get the referral over to the VA, or they already have that established relationship.
I'm really glad you touched on that. I don't know that everyone, even within LFS, knows the details of what we do to serve our veterans. We hear a lot about it. And so I think these series marks have been great to get not only our constituents externally, but internally, and everyone knowing the breadth and the width of what we do for people. Adam, you said it so great. It's about meeting people where they're at. And in order to care for them, you have to get to know them. You can't just blast that. There's no cookie cutter, like you said. And so, on behalf of everyone who's listening and works for LFS and those that you do serve. I want to thank you. And personally, I want to thank you for being a good friend. I've been on board 3 years. I make a lot of trips to Grand Island. Adam and I have had a lot of conversations. And I think you know this, I've said it before, but I've never served our country, and it's possible I never will, but you have, and I think you carry it well, and you're inspiring to me. So thanks, Adam. And Mark, I'll kick it back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Joel, and thanks, Adam, for sharing that story. And it's you forget how small this world is too. That we had that personal connection too, where you actually worked with my wife's uncle, and now he's involved with the Buddy Check program and some of the others. And it is just it's a network of uplifting individuals that have served our country, and some that have to deal with the personal connection of those that have sacrificed all for our country. And so, Adam, again, I applaud you for what you do, and thank you for your service both to our country and LFS. For those out there that are wondering again on how they can stay involved or get involved, we have multiple ways across all of our programs, but if you are passionate about our vets, you can go and make a gift online today at lfsneb.org and designate it to Military and Veterans Services. And as we come up on celebrating our country's birthday, July 4th, and our independence and our freedom, our military and veterans, they date back to us making sure that we have the freedoms that we do. And so if you are inclined, make a gift today, and it'll make a huge impact on those that we serve. On the other side of staying involved, our volunteer opportunities, our community care packages, they're still going, and they're still a need. As COVID has uprooted so many lives in many different ways, these packages have now impacted over close to 600 individuals, over 100 households. And it's something that's pretty remarkable, and we still have some funds that have been raised in order to do that. So it's as simple as volunteering to go and deliver these care packages that have food, hygiene products, activities for kids, whatever the family is in need for at that given moment. And you'd be surprised on what some of those requests are. I know, Joel, that you've seen some of them as well, and it's it's things that we sometimes all take for granted, but we have those opportunities to make that difference. And so again, visit lfsneb.org and check out both ways to make an impact financially as well as volunteering. And if you want to learn more about any of our programs, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself, Joel, Adam, or anyone within our agency, as we would love to get you involved. And so with that, Joel, thank you. Adam, thanks again for joining us today, and thank you for your service. It's been a pleasure getting to know you over this last year, and look forward to many more conversations. And so for everyone else out there, thank you for tuning in, and stay safe and healthy, my friends.